afternoon. It's the last presentation, no more, okay? So we are going to talk to ALBA, finally, because this is a more important presentation of today, of course, you know. And then how we deal with industries. Well, first of all, we have a kind of advertisement. What is ALBA? Okay, it's important. But it's very fast. I mean, basically, the investment is about 300 million. I mean, 200 million at the beginning and 100 million with bin lines that has been built in the last 12 years or so. And we have more than 2,000 users every year, okay? And 300 experiments, okay? And basically, you know, here we are working for more than 4,000 hours per year, which means that we are working 24 hours, 7 days a week. And as was previously said, synchrotron has almost working or able to provide the information in every single part of the industry. Okay. Well, we're talking about industry, but there are many kinds of industry. We mainly focus on during this presentation of industry as a users. Means the industry that are coming to the synchrotrons and they are using the synchrotron light in order to get the information about the products and the processes. But there are also industry that they are suppliers in this case. And in the case of the synchrotron, you cannot buy a synchrotron from the shelf. You have to design it, you have to develop new techniques that are many times are unique for one particular synchrotron, not for all of them. And in this case, you have to work very closely with the industry as a supplier, and you make some joint developments. So we are working also with the industry as a supplier. We are providing our techniques and our scientific equipment. And also we are working with any other kind of industry that is willing to use our, let's say, developments that has been done at ALBA, and then this development might be transferred to this kind of industry. So we are going to talk a little bit about the three of them, but keep in mind that this synchrotron are very, let's say, wow, we need to go fast, but not faster, okay? And so we have three kind of industries. This is important. And well, here, of course, we have the customer, the industry is at the center of our activity. And then the first thing to do in order to get clients, as Piotr said before, is to, let's say, to make some industrial outreach in the same ways that Piotr was mentioning before. And then we provide these industry access services, which is mainly bin time, but not only bin time, you can see, we'll see later on, but also there are other laboratories that we need in order to make the synchrotron work, and also this kind of special laboratories will be offered to the industry. You will see later some examples. And also we make some technology transfer, we do some patents, and then this patent can be licensed to the industry. And finally, I mean, if sometimes the collaboration is so strong that we are able to make long-term collaboration with the industry. Okay, and here in this slide there is a mistake. Okay, you know what it is? The title, industry as a user, is not industry as a user, it's any kind of industry. Okay, this is important. And why the companies use ALBA synchrotron, not the Solaris, but the ALBA synchrotron. Okay, this is ALBA synchrotron. You can see there, and you see that well, this is the same advantages that you have for Solaris, as you can see. So basically, it's the same thing. It's a unique instrument, and of course, the industry goes to Solaris and come to ALBA, the ESRF and Diamond. The SRF and Diamond are bigger and they get more customers, okay? But at the end, we got also in the smaller synchrotron, also we got some customers as well. And there is one important thing that I would like to highlight is that the sample environment. I mean, in the synchrotron, we have a big space around the sample. So you can heat it up the sample, you can stretch the sample, you can make the pressure, you can make a lot of things to the samples, okay? And this is a big difference with respect to the normal laboratories. And of course, I mean, one of the main things is that the light is very intense. But this is also a big difference. In that case, you can make a lot of operando experiments what can simulate the production conditions at the industry. Okay, this is very important. Okay, and then here we'll start. With, let's say, with dissemination activities that we were talking earlier. After the Easter, we noticed that all the pandemic conditions were removed, and then suddenly all the, let's say, all the face-to-face activities explode. And in our case, I mean, we are talking about 6 months ago only, and we have a lot of workshops and a lot of visits and so on. And this was very important for us because during the pandemic we got no visits, no workshops, and face-to-face meeting is the most important things in order to get some new customers. Okay. By the way, the visits to our synchrotrons are very important. This is one way to how we can get new customers. And also, we have a brochure in order to show the industry what kind of things can be done. In this brochure, instead of presenting, we have this technique and we have this all the bin line and look at how wonderful we are from the technical point of view. What we can do, what we are doing, sorry, is to put all the information based on the different industrial sectors. So we have the food and packaging, we have health, energy, we have technical laboratory, we'll talk later on. And this is the way that we talk the same language that the industry, as Pierre said before, and Professor Holmes. And then in this brochure, you can find, for instance, if I am a company that I belong to the food and packaging sector, then I go to this page and I have some examples here explaining in a very simple way, okay? And also you have a list of information that you can get from your sample and for your processes. And you can see here that there is not mention of SACs, WOX, diffraction, or whatever, okay? And energy, and this is the way what we try to approach to the industry, even though it's difficult. I mean, even you try to talk the same languages, it's not so easy. And this is a list of, well, just a few examples for the customers that we have at ALBA. And at this moment, we have more than 66 different clients that has been using ALBA. And it's interesting because some of them has repeated several times. So if they come back to us, it means that we are doing something right, no? Okay, because otherwise we have also examples of companies that didn't come back. Okay, so this is good to know, but it means that you have to provide to the industry the right answer. Otherwise, they will not come back. So you can see here that we have been working with BASF, Santac, which is packaging. We have worked with laboratories, pharmaceutical laboratories, with Toyota, ready with batteries, also with Enantia, which is a SME, talking about impurities in crystalline. And also we have some long-term collaboration in the case of Henkel. In this case, we have a person that was hired by ALBA but paid by Henkel and was here working several years for providing all the information and making the experiments of Henkel here in the whole bin lines. Okay, so there is a whole range of collaboration that you may have depending on the company. So far we have been talking about mainly the bin lines services. In this case, the title is right. is the industry as a user, basically, and this is the beam lines that we have at ALBA and that has been provided services to the industry as a user. Okay, now we move to another. Well, I would like to say here that. As in the case of Solaris and many synchrotrons, the ESRF is the same thing, and Diamond the same thing, we are including in our portfolio of techniques the transmission electron microscopy because it is a very complementary technique with X-rays. Why? Because in the X-rays, you have to crystallize the sample, okay? Otherwise, you cannot provide the, let's say, the atomic structure. Whereas in the microscope, in the transmission electron microscope, is not needed, okay? The crystallization, so the sample preparation is much easier. But the resolution is still a little bit worse than the X-ray. So that's why both techniques are complementary and they are needed, okay, in order to provide a good service to the industry. And also in our case, we will have a second electron microscope, which is most devoted to material science. And we'll have a third one devoted to operando conditions that in the transmission electron microscope, the space for the sample is very, very, very small. But you can try to put gases, make reactions, heat it up the sample, and so something like that. Okay. And this is so far we have been talking about the industry as a user, but now we are going to take it to all the technical laboratories. That is not beam time, is not related with the beam lines that we have the different synchrotrons, but this is related with laboratories that are needed for keep the synchrotron working. For instance, we have a magnetic measurements laboratory in order to measure our magnets, okay? But this is a very complete laboratory, and we offer these services to the industry. In this case, the industry is different because it's the industry as a supplier. And sometimes what happens is this industry apply for providing services to another synchrotron or to CERN or to whatever, and they need to characterize the magnets they are building for supplying to other laboratories. And then we measure here the magnetic characteristics of the magnet for them. Same thing for the optics. And here we have a lot of, let's say, X-ray mirror X-ray mirrors manufacturing companies that are characterizing the mirrors here at ALBA. Okay, this is a very nice, let's say, service to the industry. At the end, we have a infrastructure, we have laboratories, and the idea is to provide service as much as possible to the industry. Another example that was mentioned by Professor Holmes is that there are some industries. In this case, it's not a pure industry, but it's big enough to, let's say, to invest money in some particular interesting cases. And this is the European Space Agency, okay? And they are going to launch an X-ray telescope in 10 years from now, more or less, okay? And the point, if it's an X-ray telescope, they need, and they have, let's say, a lens for focusing the X-rays into the detector. This is the telescope, the structure of the telescope, okay? And this X-ray lenses is composed by mirror modules, 700 mirror modules, and this mirror module has to be very well aligned, very well polished, very well manufactured, no defects, etc., etc. How the ESA is making sure that this mirror is well done and is working perfectly, because before sending the telescope to the space, which is very expensive, they check every single mirror module in our beam line, basically. So we are building a beam line which is mimic the X-ray, as you can see here, the X-ray beam is mimicked in our bin line, and then in that way we are able, we put here the mirrors modules, and we are able to check this mirror module before sending it to the space. And in this case, the ESA has put money for building this bin line. Okay, so we have cases where the companies, in this case the ESA, is interested in putting money and build his own bin line. Okay, and also another examples, different examples for technology transfer. This is a different topic. Intellectual property, we have some patents mainly related with the development of scientific equipment, and then these patents can be licensed to industry as a supplier. And then here we have, in this case, a detector, that X-ray detector that has been licensed to a small company. And here we have a nano vendor, which is, let's say, is the holder of X-ray mirror that has been licensed to another company, and also a vendor. In this case, is a sample vendor for sometimes the materials or the sample is flexible, and you want to bend it and check how the bending force may change the structure of these samples. And also this has been designed at ALBA and also has been licensed to French company. Okay? So this is another example of interaction with the industry. There are many ways to interact with the industry, and we try to use all of them. And again, more opportunities for industry as a supplier. And in this case, we have a brochure about ALBA 2 and the new bin lines that we are going to build. ALBA 2 will be upgraded in the year 2029, 2030. So of course, we have to start to thinking about this. And we got already some preliminary budget money for that. And then this is a big opportunity for industry as a supplier. And then you can see here that we will need about 600 magnets, 600 power supplies, etc., and all this structure, which is plenty of magnets. And then in this case, this is a big opportunity for industry as a supplier. Same thing for the new bin lines. They will need a lot of, let's say, end stations, optics, front ends, and so on, that are needed for building a bin line. And this is a good opportunity for industry as a supplier. And so we have to interact with them, because this is many components are not on the shelf, and they have to be designed especially for ALBA and with special characteristics. And this is an opportunity for the industry as a supplier. And okay, and now another topic. Sorry, it's very telegraphic, but it is the way as it is. And we have projects also, Professor Holmes mentioning that it's very important to have some support for the companies just to get at least the first measurements at the synchrotrons. Okay, we have projects that are precisely funding the access of the small and medium companies to not only to ALBA synchrotron, but to the whole European synchrotrons. And this is very important because they can make the first feasibility study here for free, and then can check if the results are valid for them or not. If they are valid, then they come back later on, but paying for the access, okay? And this is, we have nice examples of that, okay? And I have put here also the SYLINDA project, because here we are exchanging information, and we are somehow also helping the industry, as Piotr was shown before. This is more details. The name of the project is Leap Innovation. The first call was closed already. We have 8 proposals received from all the facilities from around Europe, and the second call is open now. So if you have a friend that's working in a small and medium company, please tell them that we have this opportunity for them. This is very important, okay? Talk to your friends, as was said by Monica, because the friends is the ones that are trusting you, and they will come back here because you are trusting us, okay? Thank you. And then we have 12 different facilities. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Whoa. Marta, could you help me? I did something wrong. I wanted to go fast, but I'm going slower. Oh, yes. Thank you. No, no, no problem. Yeah. Okay, and then the future, which is very important. Now, ALBA 2 will be built, but not only that, but we are going to try to build around ALBA an ecosystem that is helping the industry. We try to. This was mentioned yesterday, but we like to have on top of some, let's say, research center. We like to have some kind of hub for industry that allows them to use the synchrotron light and to apply the synchrotron light for for creating innovation. Okay, this is something that we would like to do it. Okay, and this the idea is to make some testing, industrial. We like to have industrial PhDs, knowledge transfer, helping the industry with intellectual property and so on. Okay, this is something that hopefully will be built around the ALBA, with, of course, with the participation of some technological centers like EURECAT, which is very focused on providing solutions to the industry. They are very close. They are not research centers. They are technological centers. This is very important. And how to contact ALBA? Piotr was mentioning. We have an industrial liaison office. This is a single point. This is a single email. You have to send it to us the email, and that's it. Please talk to your industry friends about this. And opportunity for industries is a summary. Basically, we would like to increase our, let's say, customers. We would like to enable the innovation to them, and the strategy is to get funds in order to help the companies to access to ALBA, to provide new services and to provide to make dissemination activities. And the new services are mainly focused on the new beam lines and around ALBA 2. Okay, that's it. Thank you. Questions? Yeah. Not difficult question, please. Michael, a simple question, please. Don't.
So Alejandro, we are still at the level of beginners at Solaris, but it's not the first time when we meet. And when we talk about the cooperation in industry, we always saying about these big innovations and talking rather about the beamline scientists and the scientists in general. When we talk about the industry as a supplier, industry as a user, we always think about the scientists. But we have in our infrastructures also the engineers. Like, I'm very happy that, for example, we have here the guys from the mechanical department at Solaris. And I know that what they are doing every day, they are solving problems of the scientists at the beamlines, and there are electricians, there are vacuum engineers, there are mechanical engineers, the guys that can draw everything in CAD and they can print every single part of a coffee machine on the 3D printer, and we don't have to buy it from the supplier because they can just produce it in-house. And I think that there is a hidden, very huge potential here, because for them it is much easier because they speak exactly the same language with the industry. And how it is here? What is your experience? Do the engineers from ALBA know the way to your office? And are you trying to be sensitive on the signals from the groups of engineers?
In fact, the engineers are very important because in fact most of the patents that we have here are coming from engineers. These new developments for develop new scientific equipment is made by our engineers, and the patent and the license behind all these licenses are the engineers. I mean, the license of the X-ray detector are the engineers from computing. In the license to the nano vendor are the mechanical engineers. in the license for vendor, in this case, is engineers and scientists, which is behind that. They are very important. I mean, industry as a supplier, the engineers are key. If we don't have engineers, we don't have technology transfer, basically.
Okay. So the question, maybe it is not very easy question, but do you have a clear rules what the groups of or what the engineer can have for himself, how he can benefit from the intellectual property that he will be able to produce working for ALBA, if he will do this effort to go this 2 floors up and to meet you and say, okay, I have something that can be sold. I just need your help to make a package, to do some marketing and to sell it. They like neck coating technology. Yes, somebody has brought it to the vacuum world. Yeah, the neck coating technology. So the things like this. Yeah, do you have a clear rules that, for example, I can say, Marcin, you will have 5% from the income if we will be selling the new solutions for, I don't know, supporting the mechanical, the parts of the machines, or these precision movements. They are inventing new ideas how to do, how to control this precise.
I think there is a European rule about this. I mean, the patent, which is very important, is to have the patent. Then the patent, there is the authors of the patent, and this patent is licensed to a company. So all the royalties are distributed in a way. I think if I remember well, is 1/3 of the royalties goes to the engineer, to the author of the patent, and 2/3 goes to the institution.
Okay.
So this is a rule, and it's implemented, and of course this is the payback to the for the engineer. So there is a, let's say, a motivation for doing that.
Yeah, okay, thank you. I just wanted to express that
I think this is
engineers in this facility.
This is a European rule, I think.
All right. Okay, thanks.
Any more questions? Yeah, there is one over there.
Yes, I think I have a simple question. In fact, it's for all the 3 talks. In fact, it's a very general question. Because you talk about you have tried hard to obtain customers, but do you also pre-select the customers? Because from industry, there could be some we call bad companies, for example, cigarettes companies. Will you also do some pre-selection for the customers?
Yeah, okay, pre-selection. Well, in principle, what we do, I mean, that could be different from, we're more relying on industry workshops and also in attending to the different congresses. And our industry workshops are related with sectors. What we select is the industrial sector. I mean, this year we did it in pharma. Several years ago, we did it in polymers, in metallurgy. So we select the industrial sector, and then in that case, we try to attract companies from this industrial sector. And we are not at the point of selecting some particular companies, but this depends. Probably in Solaris, you do it on Professor Holmes. I don't know if you want to add more on that.
Yeah, so in principle, we don't do pre-selection because this would be on the border of illegal, I would say. So as long as the business is operating legally, we don't really have a basis to deny the services to them. And it's really up to the lawmakers to define which industries are legal and not. That's my answer to this question.
Okay, I understand that pre-selection is invite companies just to come to ALBA, no, or to Solaris. Depends what you mean by pre-selection, okay, but or to try to sell them our services. I mean, to select some companies, right? For that, I mean,
some companies, they have good benefits to the society development, but some are not. For example, cigarette companies, let's say.
Sorry? Yeah, I mean, we are, as Pierre said, we are not allowed just to go to one company and select. I mean, in order for the suppliers, we need what is called the call for tender. And then you open to all the companies, and then the companies provide you some bidder, and the one which has the better conditions in terms of money and technological performance is the one that is selected for that, okay?
Very good question, I must say.
Yeah.
So you have no problem with drugs development?
Yeah,
I personally might have something against it, but it's not up to me to really make this decision, unfortunately. Okay, so let's thank Alejandro once again, and
Okay.